Remember that viral video from a few weeks ago where that Democratic woman was at a town hall for Republicans in Idaho and she asked a question and then they dragged her out? And then MAGA jumped in and said, well, she deserved to be dragged out. She was being disruptive. Yeah, about that. Turns out every one of those security guards have been charged because, well, it's not just gross to throw a woman around like you're auditioning for the WWE, but it's also illegal. But let's not just stop in Idaho because the Women Know Your Place tour is also making a stop in Indiana.
What groups were consulted with in the removal of the section about consent?
What groups? Nobody come to me. There's a decision that I made to not have it in there.
And so I'm confused though because your expertise is not in human sexuality instruction that I'm aware of. And so I'm wondering, did you consult with any experts about whether or not this is suitable to be removed, especially in a state where right now it's 1 in 5 or 1 in 4 of our teenage girls experiences sexual assault or sexual abuse or sexual harassment before they even leave high school.
Yep, that's Indiana State Senator Gary Byrne, who decided that they should stop teaching about consent because kids don't need to learn about it. Didn't consult a doctor, didn't consult an expert, didn't consult an educator, nothing. He said, I just woke up one morning, looked in the mirror, was like, you know what kids don't need? Boundaries. It's like a walking HR violation got a seat in the state Senate.
The Senate is hearing on the postpartum Medicaid extension bill today. You said last session you're not going to bring it before the Assembly. Any thoughts on that for this session?
No, I mean, I guess we're going to see what happens, and we'll see where the Senate votes are. We've not had the discussion this session yet about postpartum. My position's been fairly clear from the very beginning. I've never supported an expansion of welfare. I can't imagine that I would ever support one. But we have to talk about it as a caucus and see what everybody else is.
And there's Robin Voss in Wisconsin saying giving postpartum care to moms, keeping them alive after childbirth, is the same as welfare. There you go. There you have it. That's what the Republicans think of women. It's very simple. The plan is simple. Ban abortion, deny consent education, cut maternal health care, call it freedom.
When you sit behind a screen all day, it makes you a woman. Studies have shown this. Studies have shown this. And if you're out working, building robots like Harold, you are around other guys. You're not around HR ladies and lawyers.
What do you
that gives
do?
you estrogen.
What do you do?
Let me finish, Judge.
You sit behind a screen.
And there's scientist Jesse Waters of Fox saying sitting behind a computer turns you into a woman. You know it's bad when Judge Janine Pirro actually has to correct you. That's how bad that was.
It's not a presidential year. And by the way, I think AOC is going to have a little something to say about who's going to be the nominee in 28. Always, we can have that discussion.
Yeah, I can weigh in on her. Let me ask you a question, Eric.
Yep.
This is a woman. Think about this. This is a woman. She's never been married. She has no children. She's never had a job other than working in a bar. And that was short term from what we understand. She's never run a business. This is a woman that has really no life experience and has no life wisdom because she's never done any of those things. This is why no one will take her serious as a presidential candidate.
And I apologize for showing you Marjorie Taylor Greene, but we had to because she was judging AOC for not having children, not being married, not. But ironically, Marjorie Taylor Greene's husband filed for divorce from her because she was having a lot of extramarital affairs in her CrossFit programs. So she is definitely an upstanding person to represent all women. Sit this one out, Marge. Just sit this one out. All right. What we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, is that there's an attack on women and women's rights. And that's what you get when you give the power to these people to legislate in a place they have no right legislating. So you have that congressman there earlier saying that he wants to remove consent education from classes because he just woke up and thought, yeah, kids don't need to learn about consent. Let them do what they want to do, right? Or you have the other gentleman from Wisconsin saying that, if we help women after they give birth, that's welfare. That's welfare. And then we have Marjorie Taylor Greene, a woman attacking another woman because she says she did not have children and she's not married. So this all started, let's not forget, when the ban on abortion happened. This is an attack on women. This is a power play. This is what dictators and totalitarian governments do. They go after one group and then they start going after another group. what they do is they weaken women. They try to weaken women. Women need to stay in the kitchen. They shouldn't have rights. I should tell you what you should do. I should tell you what you should be able to do. And this is a thing that they've been working on for 50 years. Let's not forget, when Roe versus Wade was overturned, the Republican Party, the Christian right, continued to push. And when people sat out the 2016 election and didn't vote for Hillary and they voted for Donald Trump, they ended up with 3 far-right conservative judges who then banned abortion. And when they banned abortion, remember, they said, we're not banning abortion, we're sending it back to the states so the states can judge for themselves. That's how they get you. Because now we've seen in several states it's banned. We just saw recently there was a 10-year-old rape victim in Ohio who had to go to Indiana to get an abortion, and the doctor who gave her an abortion just got in trouble in Indiana. So how backwards is that? This is the kind of stuff that you hear happening in backwards countries, places where there's a religious leadership, where they're oppressive to women, but now it's happening in America. And every woman needs to wake up and realize whether you support, abortion or not. It's not even about that. It's about giving a woman a right to choose. It's about educating kids in school about consent. I mean, that's pretty low-hanging fruit, but they don't want that. They want you to stay home. Jesse Waters says if you get behind a computer, you're going to be a woman. You got to be in the office working with the guys at the factory. That's how you get tough. These guys want to move things back to the way they were 100 years ago, 200 years ago, where you would look at, boardrooms and there was no women around. It was just a bunch of dudes, a bunch of white dudes. That's what they want because white guys are being discriminated against. That's really what's happening. Yeah, that's, they got to get rid of DEI. They got to get rid of anything that gives a little bit of a chance for someone from another background to have a leadership position. They want to get rid of that. Why? Because they want to have control. Why? Because that's ultimately what it's about. I was born in Iran, where when the Islamic Revolution happened, my family, we had to flee, but I saw with my own eyes, one of the first things that the Islamic Republic of Iran did was they took away women's rights. They said, you have to wear a hijab, you have to cover up. And we've seen now in the recent past, there's been protests finally after 40-something years of people saying we don't want to wear the hijab, or if we want to have the choice, I should say. And so ultimately it's about the choice. So that's what they do. The totalitarian governments first come after the women, then they'll go after the LGBTQ community. Famously in the decision to overturn Roe versus Wade, Clarence Thomas indicated that he would like to revisit the gay marriage that was upheld years ago. He wants to get rid of the rights of gay people to get married, which is the community they go after afterwards. And then they start going after religious minorities, etc., etc., etc. It's all an attack on different groups so that this white, male-dominated society can continue to be a white-dominated male society. And every woman should be angry and upset at these men who are legislating on their behalf. You don't know the first thing about being pregnant or giving birth or what you go through or any of the women who are victims of sexual assault. You don't know the first thing about that. And for you to be a man and feel like you have the right to legislate in any of these situations is just hypocritical and it's unbelievable. So to all the women out there and all the men who love women, who love your daughters, who love your moms, who love your wives, and respect human beings, I would say we need to stand up to this stuff. I would say we need to expose these people, and that's what people like AOC do. Every time AOC talks about giving dignity and freedom and rights to women, these people shiver in their boots because they know that she's speaking truth, and they're just holding on to some old biblical mumbo-jumbo that tells them what a woman should be and shouldn't be. Folks, my name is Maz Jobrani. I'm a comedian. I've got a channel right here on YouTube. Please go. It's free. Subscribe. Check it out. I put comedy clips up. Lord knows we need some laughs, so check it out.